Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be my review, first impression, a wear test on the new Beautiful Skin Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. If you're excited to see this, I'm so excited about this foundation. I will do a wear test. I will also compare it to other foundations that I have in my collection so you can get an idea of what this foundation is all about, what it looks like shade-wise. Then stay tuned, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. Now let's get right into the video. This is in the shade Too Neutral. I always call it Too Natural, Too Neutral, and this foundation claims to do a lot of wonderful things. I cannot wait to show you this foundation. I will be applying it with a beauty sponge on one side and with a foundation brush on the other. Let's start with what this foundation claims to do. It says that the skin looks more radiant by up to 285%. It's long lasting, pollution defense. It's a medium coverage. It's light as air. It's hydrating because of the hyaluronic acid. It's brightening because of the rose complex. The skin looks more beautiful instantly. It does have some wonderful skincare benefits, and that's why I love this so much. This retails for $55 Canadian. I believe that's $44 US on the Charlotte Tilbury website, but at Sephora in Canada, you get it for $55. There's a lot of shades in this one. Now, how I picked my shade is I did not use the shade finder that they recommend because it did give me 3 neutral, I believe, and that looked a little bit too deep for my skin tone. Now I'm going to compare it to my Airbrush Flawless Foundation. This is in Too Neutral, and that's why I picked this one in Too Neutral. I don't have the other skin tint by Charlotte Tilbury, but I will be comparing it to this one. I'm also going to be comparing it to the Fenty Beauty one and to the Eat CC Cream, just because the tubing is very similar, and this I have in my collection, so I can give you an idea on how they look on the hand. So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm sure you guys seen my short on my unboxing. It is just such a beautiful packaging. Look at this. I love the gold and the brown, and the shade looks very nice. Now this comes with a pump, and what's cool about it is that you can actually remove this like that, and you can use it up to the last little bit of foundation that's left in your tube, so it's not gonna go to waste. So I'm excited about that. Now let me show you some of my other foundations. So here's a close-up. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter, which is this one right here. The second one is the new foundation by Charlotte Tilbury right here in Too Neutral. Then we have the Fenty Beauty and the It CC Cream. Here they are. As you can see, the consistencies are very, very similar. They're very creamy. They're not liquidy to the point that they look like water, but they are very creamy and hydrating. Now you can see the Airbrush Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury is very similar to the new foundation by Charlotte Tilbury, and the only difference is that the new foundation looks a little bit more hydrating and looks a little bit more glowy. The shades are very similar, so that is one thing I recommend, is don't go by the shade finder. If you do have a foundation by Charlotte Tilbury, go based on what you have. Now this is the Fenty Beauty, very similar in shade, just pulls a little bit more grayish than this one, and this is the It CC Cream, which is more rosy, but it still looks very nice on the skin. So those are the foundations. I can compare them to, so you guys can have an idea. Here they are again. Now let's go ahead and apply this on the face, and I will be doing a couple check-ins throughout the day, or maybe at the end of the day, and show you how this foundation is looking. So before I apply the foundation, I'm gonna be using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I do have the big one, but there's a little bit left in my mini one, so I'll be using this as my moisturizer. Now, this foundation is supposed to be good for normal, combo, and dry skin. I heard that it's very glowy and very hydrating. So if you do have oily skin, I cannot guarantee that your skin will not become oilier throughout the day. So that I am not sure. But I have normal to dry skin. Right now it's dry, but usually my skin type is normal, and I noticed when I wash it and if I don't put moisturizer, it feels very, very dry. So I consider my skin type to be normal to dry. So I'm gonna put, okay, a pump of this foundation on one side right here, and I'm gonna do a pump on the other side. And on this side I will be using a brush, and on this side I will be using a sponge. So we'll see how this looks. So right away I noticed that the foundation is quite thick. It's thick to blend. So that's good. I'm gonna go into my Merit brush because with this one I can actually stamp it in. So that was just one pump on one side. And now I'm gonna go with my beauty sponge and apply this side and see which way feels and looks better. Okay, so right away, what I noticed is when you apply it with the sponge, the product is not being sucked into the sponge. So you have still a lot of product to work with. You saw I applied one pump on this side and I was able to cover the whole side with the one pump, and one pump on the other, and I was able to cover it with the brush with one pump. Now let's see here. It looks very glowy, very beautiful. I love a hydrating foundation. That's my favorite thing to wear. Looks very natural. It did cover up a little bit here, but let's build it up. So to tell you, my preference is if you apply it with the sponge, it looks more hydrating, more glowy. If you apply it with a brush, it does look less glowy. So depending on your preference, I prefer both. I always like to go in with a brush and then a sponge. So I'm gonna apply now with a sponge and dab everything in. But that was to kind of give you an idea, and let's build it up. So I'm gonna apply, I'm gonna get one more pump. I'm gonna put half of it here and half of it here, like that, to build it up and see how it looks. Wow, that's a lot actually. One pump, you cover a lot. So I'm gonna build it up and see how it looks with another layer, because it says it can build up to medium coverage. So definitely you can see the medium coverage right there. It doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look like it peels on the skin, even though that we've built it up. So you can see right away that this was covered, and definitely is buildable. Now, if you do have a lot of imperfections on your face, this is not a full coverage foundation. This is a medium coverage foundation. So depending on the type of coverage you prefer, it looks beautiful. So now, as you can see, the sponge side and the brush side, I'm gonna bring you closer so you guys can see how the foundation looks like. So this is with the brush. You can see that it has not settled into any of my lines underneath the eye. It has not settled into the forehead lines, and this is with the sponge. You can see that with the sponge is definitely more dewy than with the brush. So depending on your preference, this is how you can apply it. This is the coverage, and I think it looks beautiful. So this is from far what the foundation looks like. You guys can see from far and then up close, and I think it looks stunning. I'm definitely loving it, and what I love about it is that the foundation is more on the thicker side, not thinner side. It seems that it sticks to the face and it stays there, and it's more of a, I can describe this foundation thicker, more coverage than a skin tint, and less coverage and less consistency than a full coverage foundation. This is how I can describe this foundation. Loving it. I'm just loving it. So far when I move my face, I don't feel heavy, I don't feel creasing, I don't feel like I'm wearing foundation. It just looks beautiful. So I'm not going to apply concealer, I'm not going to apply any powder because I want to see how this foundation lasts without any of those. I'm not going to apply any setting sprays at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop off camera, I'm gonna apply some bronzer and blush, no highlighter, because we want to see how dewy and glowy this foundation remains throughout the day. I will be wearing a mask as well, so we'll see how that's going to look at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm going to apply all those and I will be right back. Bronzer is applied and the blush is applied, so I went in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills cream bronzer, my Tower 28 blush, and I also went with my Liss bronzer on top of the Anastasia bronzer. And actually the foundation has not budged, there's no patchiness at all. That's all I did, and I applied lipstick. For my lipstick I went with both my Merit lip oils, and mine are in the shade Taupe and Cara. So Taupe and Cara. So I kind of combine them just to kind of bring in the bronziness on the face with the blush together on the lips. And for my eyes, I will let you know in a second what I'm wearing. But let me give you my thoughts so far. So the foundation is still on. It has not budged. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It feels very hydrating on the face, and it doesn't feel oily to the point where it looks greasy or it feels greasy. We'll see how this will look at the end of the day, but I'm having very high hopes for it because it just looks beautiful on the face. It applies beautiful with both a sponge and a brush. So whatever you prefer with a sponge, you see more of glowiness than with a brush. But in the end, they look very similar. Both sides look very similar, one with the brush, one with the sponge. And I used this with no primer underneath. I used it with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, but you can use absolutely any cream underneath. I just wanted to hydrate my face even more, but you can use your own cream, whatever you have in your stash, it's fine. And I'm loving it. Here is a close-up of how the face looks with all of these products on, and it just looks stunning. You can see that nothing has lifted, nothing has moved. I applied both cream and powder product, like the powder bronzer on top, no powder in the center, absolutely nothing else. I applied no concealer underneath. I applied no powder in my T-zone, nothing. Again, my skin is dry to normal skin, so let's wait till the end of the day and see how this performs and stays on the face. But it has not budged behind the nose here, nothing in my smile lines, and nothing on my forehead. I'm loving it so far. If you are wondering what I'm wearing on my eyes, I'm wearing the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. So I've used a couple of these browns, this in the as a transition color, this in the crease, and I've used this green right here in combination with that green, and this two kind of in the middle and inner corner. So I went more green and brown. And this liner inside, I always like to add a pop of a different color in the inner corner. I think it looks beautiful. I've used my Tarte cream liner, and this is in the shade Mint. and with a small tiny brush I just kind of defined my inner corner. I think that pop of color makes the eye look more interesting. Anyways, this is how the face looks like right now. Let's do some check-ins later on. I will let you know if my opinion has changed, but my final thoughts would be at the end of the night when this foundation has been worn for a full day. I cannot do a 16-hour wear test. Maximum you can wear a foundation is probably 8 to 12 hours, but you know, I'm okay that if by hour 9 the foundation looks a little bit patchy or not, because it's just normal, especially wearing masks. But I will let you know how it looks at the end of the night and how oily or greasy how it looks. And yeah, so stay tuned and I will check with you later. Okay, so I'm right in front of a window and you guys can see how the foundation looks right after application. This is right after the video. So you can see how it looks on my face. Pardon, that's Kona in the background crying. She wants to come to me up here. But anyways, this is what the foundation looks like. I think it looks stunning. So we'll do a check-in later on so you can see how this foundation has lasted throughout the day on my face. But yeah, this is with natural light in front of a window. And there is Kona crying because she wants to go for a walk. She's ready for a walk. You ready for a walk? Yeah? Okay, so it's been about 2 hours since I put the foundation on, and me and Kona, we went for a walk. Did we go for a walk today? Yeah. So, Kona, did we go for a walk? Where did we go? Did we go to the park? Yeah. So yeah, me and Kona went for a walk today. And I just had lunch and the foundation is still on. So you can see how beautiful the foundation is still on. I did not touch it. I fixed nothing. I just put some lip balm on my lips. That's it. But you guys, this foundation is so beautiful. So I just wanted to do a quick check-in to let you know that I did a couple things. Foundation has not budged, not moved. It looks stunning. It looks exactly like when I applied it. No oiliness, nothing. It looks exactly the same. So I wanted to let you know, but I will do another check-in later on. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is my final check-in on this beautiful skin foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. And as you can see, it's been almost, I think, around 7 hours that I've been wearing this foundation. I wore a mask as well. You can see that it's not gone off of my chin. I'm going to zoom you in and show you a closer look up, and then I will show you how it looks without the ring light in front of me. This is what the foundation looks like after wearing a mask. You can see that it's not drying at all around my nose. It's not oily. It doesn't look like I'm sweating on my face or anything. It looks very natural. It looks glowy. It's just a type of coverage that I really enjoy in a foundation. I like this type of look better than a matte foundation for my skin type. So I think that it looks stunning. Nothing, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about it. It has not settled into any of my fine lines. How about underneath the eye? Everything looks really beautiful. Again, I have no concealer, no powder. Around the nose looks beautiful, and it's still on my chin. It has not gone away after wearing a mask. Everything is just there, just like the first time I've applied it. I think it just looks beautiful. If you're wondering what I'm wearing on my lips, that's the only thing I've applied right now. It's a new lipstick, which is the Revlon, and this is in the shade 700, and it's this type of lipstick. I just love this lipstick. It's so hydrating and the shade is so beautiful. But yeah, this is going to be my final check-in. So let me show you how it looks without the ring light. So I'm going to turn the ring light off. So this is like I only have my side lights. I only have my side lights and my mirror in front of me, but this is without the ring light, and you can see the glowiness more now than with the ring light, but it still looks stunning. So my suggestion is, let me turn my lights on, that if you do have oily skin, this is probably going to look a little bit more oily on your face. So if you don't like that, this foundation is just wonderful with great skin ingredients. So all you have to do is kind of powder your area probably throughout the day and you're good to go. But for me, I don't need any powder. I love this type of look and I really enjoy it, and I definitely recommend this foundation. Those are my final thoughts. This is my last check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed it and let me know if you picked this up. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review and wear test on this beautiful Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I got mine in the shade 2. Definitely recommend to check your other foundation and go based on the number you already have, because it's a perfect match. As you can see, I love how this matches my skin tone, just like my other Charlotte Tilbury. So just kind of be aware and maybe not check the shade finder and go with what you have already if you do have a Charlotte Tilbury foundation. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review and this wear test. I think it looks beautiful on the skin. Definitely recommend this foundation. Very stunning packaging, stunning formula, stunning everything. I love Charlotte Tilbury. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, comment down below and let me know what you think. If you do have a Charlotte Tilbury foundation, if you like this review, I would love to hear your thoughts. So anyways, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe down below. It would mean so much to me. I would really appreciate it. And also remember to always be yourself. Have a wonderful day and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.